Xabi Alonso to be announced as Chelsea manager, Mohamed Salah with a statement that casts further doubt on Arne Slot's future as Liverpool manager, but as yet, no announcement expected there, and also, crucially, no competition from Liverpool for Xabi Alonso's signature. Now, this is a big story with a lot of these different strands intertwined, and duly, I'm actually sitting here in what is now an empty Wembley after Manchester City's expected victory over Chelsea in the FA Cup final. And if that wasn't necessarily the most consequential game, it is obviously intertwined with a lot of these stories, not least as regards the direction of Chelsea. And also for the fact that it was actually mid-game and arguably overshadowing the game a bit that Mohamed Salah had those social media posts, all saying the same thing, of course, that created a new round of controversy around Liverpool to only contribute to the loud noise around Arne Slot. And also after the game, it emerged that, it was pretty much confirmed that Alonso is close to a 4-year deal to be Chelsea. Well, a lot of talk is manager, not head coach. And just standing back for a moment, I suppose, I think it's a good appointment in any circumstances. It's especially good appointment for Chelsea, given the discussions and difficulties this season, and a lot of the talk about how whether managers would even want to go there, given what's happened. So I suppose, how has it got to that? How was there not more competition? Given Alonso, despite what happened at Real Madrid, is still considered one of the brightest coaches in the world. Well, as regards his own choice, as I wrote for The Independent, some of his thinking was obviously influenced by what happened in Real Madrid. He was there from June to February, a brief period. He wasn't able to impose his ideology, but I mean that is really seen as having no effect on his reputation, given everything that's happened with Real Madrid over the past few weeks. He did want certain assurances from Chelsea, because he would have been conscious of the club's own distinctive issues. He wants to be able to build a project, but also he was aware that the nature of the two dressing rooms is different, and if Madrid are now filled with ego stars again and kind of a powerful dressing room in that way, Chelsea have actually built a young squad, and whatever about the football profile of the squad, which I am told Alonso feels fits his ideology, a young squad is also exactly the type that is malleable for a systems coach like Alonso. So that's one reason, or one of a few reasons why there can now be optimism after what was a grim campaign and a grim enough afternoon here against City at Wembley. So there is promise there. The bigger question from that, I suppose, is why Chelsea had such a clear run at this. I mean, from what I'm told, there was no competition, when I suppose the main competition expected would have been from Liverpool. And just from speaking to a few people as well, I am told that Alonso himself would maybe have expected a little bit more. There might have been contact, especially given the doubt around Slot, but instead Liverpool they had no interest in getting in touch with him. They didn't want to make a move at all. And that is maybe the biggest surprise out of all of this. I mean, leaving aside the future of Slot for the moment, which I will discuss, of course. So I did write about this in my newsletter on Friday, where, and there are a few elements to it. I suppose essentially meshing with the original decision to go for Slot over Alonso in the summer of 2024. Liverpool obviously are, very data-led. All of the decision-making has been centred around Michael Edwards and his team. And in 2024, they felt that all the data showed that Arne Slot was a much better coach for Liverpool than Alonso. And despite how the last few weeks have gone, or this season has gone really, they still feel that's the case. It's not just the data they've consulted. I'm also told they've spoken to people at Real Madrid, other people in football. And again, the feeling is that Alonso isn't as suited to be Liverpool manager as Slot. Now, again, people might be shocked at that, given recent form. And I suppose in that sort of context, we are talking about maybe an idealised version of a Slot, or a Slot that's working well, because at the moment, it's just not working well. And so it does feed into the bigger question. If they're not going to go for Alonso, are Liverpool going to go for anyone else? Well, up until this week, I would have said no. All the signs are, all the indications are that they were going to stick by this decision. That, as I say, the club ownership had essentially delegated all football decision making to Michael Edwards and the team around him, and their general philosophy, their approach is to try and always stand above the noise and look to the medium and long term. And look, of course, they've seen this noise around the club, the criticism, the fan, the disconnect. And I suppose the thinking is, from what I'm told, that they're going to do some surgery in the squad in the summer, going to fill in positions they need. They're aware of all the kind of the caveats and issues with this season. And I suppose, like the way these things usually go, they're conscious of the idea that if you win 3 games in a row at the start of next season, which to be fair, Liverpool did this season, but that all that noise goes away and everyone starts thinking a bit differently. But obviously that carries a risk, given that right now it does seem like Slot is a coach without any solutions, that Liverpool are directionless, because it's amazing how it seems to have got worse. I mean, as bad as so many displays this season have been, I have to say Friday felt like an nadir. I mean, Liverpool were actually okay for the first half, but from the second, it was the way that Villa just kept shredding them. It was comparable to, but I would say worse than, the 7-2 back in 2020 when Klopp endured that drop off after initially winning the league. Liverpool were just so easy to get at. And this was a worse performance, I think. And Ollie Watkins could have had so many goals in the second half. And again, Slot just didn't seem to know how to respond to that. And I think that's obviously the bigger concern for Liverpool. That A, it doesn't seem like there's a way out right now, and B, there doesn't seem to be any movement from the club on this. I mean, there have been suggestions that it was so bad on Friday that they may reconsider. Well, I mean, this is a club that has to have a serious think. But one thing we know for certain, it's not going to be Alonso, who you'd almost consider like the crown prince of Anfield in that way. He's not going to be coming in. From everything we hear there as well, one of his great career ambitions would have been to go back to Liverpool as manager, even if he was aware of the pressures involved. Instead, that opportunity is not presenting itself right now, and because he wants to work at a top job and the Premier League, obviously, he is going to accept the Chelsea job. So yeah, I mean, this has obviously been a very intense end to the season, and this storyline is just one other consequence of that, with so many dimensions and strands of its own. And so yeah, as we say, Alonso on the brink of being Chelsea manager, Slot on the brink of leaving Liverpool. It doesn't seem the case, despite that post from Salah. A post, it must be said as well, I suppose summed up just the kind of the disunity in Liverpool right now. I mean, the fact that it was liked by so many players, is indicative in itself. I thought the language used in it was conspicuous. Even the kind of reference to Klopp, given there has been talk about there was even tension there. And yeah, it's a remarkable situation. So like Chelsea and Liverpool, obviously, almost 2 clubs either side of this FA Cup final in some ways, but both enduring very difficult seasons. But right now, it's Chelsea that seem to have a bit of hope, where Liverpool don't. Very different to a year ago. And yeah, a strange situation, a curious storyline, and one with a lot to play out. So this has been Miguel Delaney's Inside Football. It's obviously a compliment to my general work for The Independent and my newsletter of the same name. If you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, comment, all of that. And I will see you again soon. Thank you. Cheers.